Hey everybody, welcome back to Success Secrets Revealed. I hope you all had a great weekend and your month of July is starting off well. Today we have a special guest here with us today, Jason Freeman, and he's going to talk to us about learning about being okay with being our imperfect self. And I'll let him go into more detail about that. But first, I want to let you know about how this show got started. I have a radio show called Internet Marketing and Business Solutions with Ronald Couming, but because of COVID, they stopped manning the station physically, so they're just doing reruns. I didn't want to stop contributing to business owners and entrepreneurs by bringing on such wonderful guests, just like Jason and many others. So I created this show. I'm going to take the audio. I'm going to send it to the radio station. They're going to send it out at some point in some rotation. But you guys get to hear current experts, and you get some value now, and somewhere in the future you'll get to hear these again. So that's how that happened. My guests don't get paid to be on the show. I don't get paid to be on the show. Everybody's here just to give back and try to help business owners and entrepreneurs. It's just our way of giving back. But the show does have a sponsor. That sponsor is my company, RCS Online Solutions. And basically, we help business owners attract, convert, and retain their ideal customers and clients. The bottom line is, if they can't find you when they're searching for their products, services, or solutions, then they can't consider you or even hire you. No one's searching for your name or your company's name. So if you come up on the first page for your name or your company's name, they're not really searching for that. If they are, they're just calling you or they're typing your name in, right? They're searching for a solution or a product or a service. They don't know who has that. That's what they type in. That's what you need to come up for on the search engines. And that's what we do. And we basically guarantee it to a point where you don't pay us until you get the results that we promised you. Now, enough about that. Let's get to the good stuff. We have Jason Freeman with us today. I met Jason several years ago at Habitude Warrior Conference. And once you start listening to him and hearing his story and how he started and the things he went through, what he's accomplished, and how he embraces being awkwardly awesome, you're going to love him. So here's a little bit of a bio. Jason Freeman's goal is to speak to millions to inspire them to bravely persevere towards their goals and dreams. Birth trauma left Jason with a pronounced speech impediment and coordination difference. For years, he struggled with feelings surrounding his disabilities. In the last decade, he has taken countless steps that have transformed how he experiences life and what he offers the world. Jason double majored in English and social work at Augustana College and has a master's of fine arts in poetry. He currently is a professional speaker and perseverance coach residing in San Diego, California. He is the author of Awkwardly Awesome, Embracing My Imperfect Best, and has given a TED Talk entitled The Imperfect Tedx Talk. Imagine that. Help me welcome Jason Freeman. Yay!
Hey, thanks for having me, Ron.
Thank you for sparing some time for us, Jason. How's everything going in San Diego? It's such a beautiful place.
Actually, I moved back to South Dakota. No ocean here, but it's still beautiful.
Yeah, probably a lot less taxes too.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry, I think. I don't know about their climate stuff, but two things that really worried me about California was the taxes and the earthquakes. So hopefully where you are now, there's no earthquakes.
Yeah, it's feeling pretty stable here.
And hopefully we didn't jinx anything for anyone. But Jason, no. I read your bio. I've known you for years. We met at Habitude Warrior Conference, and that's such a great conference put on by Eric Swanson for people like yourself, like me, back then when we were starting out in our speaking gigs. And, it's really where a lot of heart-centered people go and speak and learn. But tell us more about who you are and what you do and how you got to this point in your life.
Thanks, Ron. So, many people are dealing with challenges right now. Life has taken, obviously, many unexpected turns in the past few months. Well, my life started out with an unexpected turn and a challenge. I came a few weeks early, and I surprised my parents in the middle of the night. Surprise! When I was born, and luckily they got me to the emergency room in time. But in the process, my umbilical cord was kinked like a garden hose, which makes it hard for me to say the word umbilical. As a result, I have a voice uniqueness and a coordination uniqueness.
Yep. But thank God, at least you're still with us.
Yeah, thank gosh. I could have died at birth.
Yeah, and now go on. I mean, I've heard you speak about how during your life, how that has affected you. And then now in the last 10, 15 years or so, you've gone on to not only overcome it, but actually help many others who might have similar situations.
So for much of my life, I didn't want this unexpected challenge as part of my life. I was like, why me? I was I didn't even have a chance. This all happened at birth. But in the last 10 years, I started embracing the challenge of being me. And when I embraced the challenge I have to work with, my life opened up in a dramatic and exponential way.
I love it. And that's giving presentations, speeches, writing books. You got a double major in English. I mean, I have trouble with there, and there, and two, and two, and which is which, and whether it's WEATHER or WETHER, and there's this thing called the Oxford Common or semicolon or something. I don't even know what it is, but I always hear people refer to it. I would have to Google that. But you got a double major in English, huh?
English, and so yeah.
Yeah, and a master's in poetry. So you've turned. But now, I mean, you've had these things, and they came to you at birth. You didn't ask for them. It was super unfortunate. But you were, bullied and picked on for it. And now, but you've gone on and created a whole positive life for yourself, where you've written books and gone out and given presentations. Do you want to talk a little bit about like some of the stuff you went through, what helped you overcome? I don't want to say being the victim, but just sitting back and taking it to now, where you are. You know who you are, you're comfortable in who you are, you're writing books, and you're going out there and you're helping people. There was a time that something switched in you, where you went from taking it to accepting it and excelling with it.
So after I had completed my master's degree, I was like, this should be the happiest day of my life. But I just was still content being myself, or still discontent being myself. I didn't feel successful, and I was pacing around my home and wearing a hole in the floor. And finally, I remembered that my aunt and uncle had told me a few months before, Jason, you should try yoga. And at the time, I'm like, no, I don't do yoga. I have cerebral palsy. But this day I was so desperate that I took a tiny step. I went down to the YMCA and bought a $35 membership with the intention of doing yoga. I didn't even do yoga the first day, but that tiny step started me down a new path, a new trajectory.
Nice. So it started as simple as yoga, huh?
Yeah, very, very simple.
Yeah, and but that was good. Somebody gave you some advice and you took it. So now, once you started doing yoga, what happened from there?
Yoga gave me more confidence, and eventually I found myself speaking to an audience, and that audience just breathed life. I gave them my best, and they gave me that best, and they just breathed life into the stream I had to really embrace my challenge and become all I could be.
Excellent. I love it. Now, tell us some of the things that you've become. I mean, we know that you've gotten some degrees, but what else are you doing? You're doing the TED Talks, and you're going out and you're speaking at Habitude Warrior Conference as well as other places. And tell us how you're helping. You're a Bravery coach, and also how people can contact you. What is it that you do for business now?
I've done over 100 talks so far. My main business is speaking and being a coach, and I just want to help people focus on turning their challenges into opportunities instead of resisting their challenges and thinking, well, life should be perfect. I mean, it'd be great sometimes if life was perfect, but it's just not. So I say do your imperfect best. Give life your best, but when imperfections happen, instead of letting them stop you, allow them to propel you forward. Allow them to teach you the next step in your career
That's huge.
or in your business.
That's huge, and that's so important. And that's kind of like what I was going to ask you. If somebody is going through life now with some challenges in their business or in their personal life, what are some things that they can do specifically to start the process of overcoming that negative feelings, or those I'm not good enough feelings, or something that will help them then start moving forward towards um, being more like you?
Okay, the first step is to accept a challenge. Accept the challenge. As humans, we have unlimited capacity to deny our challenges. For years, I tried to deny I had a speech impediment. And the second step is to notice how you're looking at your challenge. And then start thinking about looking at it in a new way. And then ask yourself, what's one small step I can take towards the challenge? It doesn't have to be the correct step. It doesn't have to be the perfect step. The reason I'm here is I went to the YMCA and I bought a $35 membership. Didn't even do yoga that first day, but that imperfect tiny step changed things. So it's like any problem, you just have an opportunity to experiment and find what works, and keep going and keep learning from the mistakes. Because the only way a challenge won't change is if you quit working on it. If you just say, this is the way my life is, it stinks, but there's nothing to do, it won't change. But as humans, we have so much power. We grew up from babies, we learn to walk and talk and all these things. We have power to transform.
I love it, man. I love it. And think about it. I mean, so many people have been born, whether, I mean, in your case, it was an imbalance, physical imbalances and a speech impediment. But I mean, how many people were born perfectly, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, economically, in the right environment? Jim Rohn talks about, it's not what happens to you, it's because that pretty much happens to everybody. It might be slightly different neighborhood, different person, different something, but the feelings, the emotions, the setbacks, all that it pretty much happens to everybody else in one form or another.
Mm-hmm.
But what the difference is what we do with it.
I love what you said. I mean, we all get a allotment of unique challenges in life. It's just what we do with it.
Yep. Yep. And a good friend of mine and ours both, Bob Donnell. Now, I don't think I've heard this quote before, but he said it to me most recently, and it stuck in more so probably because I heard it from a friend. But he talked about just when we can shift our frame of mind, right? In little shifts. So instead of saying I have to, and I think the example he gave was about going to the gym. So if you're lying in bed and you're thinking about, I have to get up and I have to go to the gym, it now becomes such a burden. You know what I mean? I have to get up, I have to get dressed, I have to go to the gym, I have to come back, I have to take another shower, I have to wash the clothes, I have to do this, I have to do that. But if you change your frame of mind and just say, I get to go to the gym today, or whatever it is, that shift in mindset changes your perception, changes the attitude and the energy in which you bring to the situation. So I think a lot of things are about how we perceive things and how we allow them to affect us. Am I correct in that?
Oh, yeah. From my experience, at one point in life, I hated this voice. I was the biggest bully to myself that I ever had, to myself. But now I'm getting paid good money to speak around the country with the same voice I used to hate.
Nice, good for you. So you turned what you perceived to be a liability into an asset. Now it becomes an asset. It opens doors for you. You changed your mindset from this is a crippling, this is a disability, this is a not as good as, and now it's turned into a key for you. You've gone on and spoken over 100 times. You've given TED Talks. You've written books. You've coached people. You're making a career out of helping other people who think that something they have or do is a disability or is imperfect, and changing that and just using what you have to the best. I love it.
It's funny you mentioned Bob Donnell. He says as a joke that I should create programs teaching speakers how to have speech impediments, because when I get up on stage, everyone has to listen closer so they hear a higher percentage of what I have to say. Probably I've never done a research study on it, but I would guess.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense because if somebody's speaking and they have somewhat of an impediment, first of all, I'm going to stop and listen to them, because sometimes when you have other speakers and they're perfectly polished, sometimes it kind of just, it's not, you just don't feel the authenticity. When someone like you gets up there, I mean, you can feel the authenticity and you can man, this dude's so brave to get up there. What does he have to say? So people now start to pay more attention, and because they're paying more attention, what they're remembering, retaining, and taking away from it is probably, significantly higher than hearing somebody else. I think they say people here remember 20% of what they hear. But as Bob said, in your case, it might be 40 or 50% the first time around, you know what I mean? And then the second and third time, it just increases. You do have a book. What's the name of your book?
Awkwardly awesome, embracing my imperfect best, and it's a cross between an autobiography, but also it asks the audience to interact with it. There's questions in it for not the audience, the reader. There's questions in it for the reader to contemplate and fill out. It's a fun read.
Excellent, good stuff. And people, I assume, can get that on Amazon.
Yeah.
Probably many other places too, but we all know Amazon, right? And no, Amazon is not paying me to say that, but I guess it's like our default now, right? So we can go to Amazon, right? I mean, all the other companies out there that have existed, Amazon, I think, started in '97, right? But all like Walmart, Sears, I mean, a lot of them are going out of business except for Walmart. But wow, what an amazing, the default. But so, yeah, they can get your book. And how can they contact you?
And also they can find my book on my website, which is Jason W. W is my middle initial, jasonwfreeman.com.
Jason W. Freeman.com. That's
yeah. Oh yeah, like my name.
Freeman, yeah.
That you have up only with a .com at the end. Yeah.
So Jason W. I separated it, but
Freeman.com.
Yep. And so good. So all right. So excellent. So people can contact you on your website, and they can. And I'm going to put all this in the description just to make sure it's spelled correctly. So we have JASONWFREEMAN, right?
Yeah.
.com. And so let's run that one on the bottom. So everybody, you see this now, Jason W. Freeman, right? You can certainly go to his website. You can order the book from his website, Amazon, and probably many other locations. But you should definitely check Jason out. Jason, in the last couple of minutes, 4, 5, 7 minutes, whatever you need, is there anything that you'd like to convey to the audience now and in the future? Because this is going to be up on YouTube. It's going to be social media. Someone might stumble upon it 6 months from now. Who knows?
So if you're listening to this and going through a challenge, I mean, I know it might seem overwhelming, but there's ways to turn challenges into opportunities. So just keep going. Learn from people about making little mindset shifts, and then take small steps forward and experiment with different ways to get through it. And if one way leads to a dead end, try another way. And if that way doesn't lead where you want to go, try another way. There is a solution to your problems. Just keep going and keep working at it consistently. Okay.
I love it. And that's like 3 feet from gold, like Greg Reed talks about, and Sharon Lecter wrote that book. And but like you say, now, if somebody is, first of all, it's mindset. You know what I mean? You can see what you have is limiting you, or it might even be freeing you, right? But if you change your mindset on whatever it is, that allows you to open up to different possibilities because you're no longer locked into that tunnel. Then if you go down a path and the path you choose doesn't give you the results you want, you have learned several lessons, and you've also learned one way that it doesn't work, but along the way you've learned other things. So now you go and you switch and you go into a different direction, but you're more educated, you're more experienced, you have a better understanding of what doesn't work. And sometimes the first thing you got to figure out is you eliminate what doesn't work to find out. I mean, how often doctors, when they do research on a medication or, rocket fuel or something, how often does somebody go in there and get it done the first time? Usually if there's multiple tries at it till you get it. Jason, you've gone from, having what some people would perceive to be disabilities at birth. You, in childhood and in teen years, you were bullied, and then you've gone on to create amazing. You've got 2 double majors in English. You have a master's in poetry. You've given 100 presentations. You're an author. When I hear about people like you, I feel inspired, right? Because, I certainly wasn't born with a silver spoon either, right? But it also, I look at other people and I say, well, what's your excuse? You know what I mean? Just get out there and try. And if it doesn't work that way, that time, you don't stop. You just keep trying. Am I right? I mean, what's our options?
Yeah, I mean, we have an option of quitting and living a boring life, but
Yep.
but I mean, like with online advertising too, I bet so many people just quit trying online advertising because the first time it didn't quite meet the expectations. So they're like, I got this, it's not good, but sometimes you just have to try as many times as it takes to get to where you want to go.
That's a perfect point. And a lot of times I will have clients will say to me, well, I've tried that and it didn't work. Well, I'm like, well, what you tried didn't work. Doesn't mean online marketing, SEO, whatever the case may be, doesn't mean that doesn't work. It just means what you tried with who you tried didn't work. So to say an entire industry, and you know what I mean, you're right. So you just, sometimes you just have to go in a different direction. That's why in my company, we perfected it to a point where we don't even charge people until after we get them the results that we agreed to. In most cases, I mean, they have to have certain things already set up, you know what I mean? And, but we won't even charge them. So I love that you give that example because I hear it all the time. You're right. It's like, oh, that doesn't work. We've heard this and that. But 11 cents of every dollar spent online is through the search engines, and 89 cents rather of every dollar spent online is through the search engines.
That's amazing.
Yeah, 11 cents, and that's all social media platforms combined. 11 cents of every dollar. So I'm not saying don't do social media marketing, or if you either got to do marketing there, you're not going to put up a post on your friend's page and think you're going to make a lot of money. But if you have a large group or you have a large following, you then maybe can say things and market to them. But if you're just a regular user, unless you're paying those platforms, you're not getting any exposure of whatever your posts are. So so you're right on that. I love it. We're both educating people. So they've got to, I'm not saying don't do social media, but you've got to focus on the search engines, and then just take what you do on the search engines, cut and paste it, and put it into social media for free. So you know what I mean? And you get your cake and eat it too. Jason, but this is about you, my brother. You're an amazing person. Like I said, I met you at Habitude. Eric brought us together, and I've seen you there speak several times. I think I've been to 7 or 8 of those and spoke.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think I spoke
a lot of those.
Yeah, and I spoke at like 5, and the others I just attended because I just wanted to listen. And then also you start to become friends, and the people like you become friends, and it starts to feel like you're a family. And you come back home, and everybody, most people have a different mindset. So when you go to these events, you get to be around like-minded people. So it's a good feeling, because most of the time we can be in a room with 100 people and we're still alone. You know what I mean? So it's nice. But again, I just wanted to say thank you so much. Is there anything in closing you'd like to add?
No, thanks so much for having me on, Ronald.
Excellent. And this will, like I said, I'm going to upload and then in the next day or two, and I'll send you all the clips, and you feel free if you want to share them and post them and comment on them and whatever. I think you're a great guy, Jason. You've done amazing things. And I think that pales in comparison to the amazing things that you're going to do going forward.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
All right, brother. You have a great day.
You